Good to have you this morning. Thanks for joining.
Hey,
Good to
I'm
see
glad to be here. There we go. I never know when you're how many people are going to be on these things, so whether to turn the camera on or off. So I always like to come in without camera. You know what I'm saying? First,
you. You
Ease
don't want to
into it.
splash on stage.
right?
Come in with a big to do. I like it. Hey, Liz. Hi, Carrie.
Good to see you, Carrie. We will get going here in just a minute.
Everyone's so punctual today. Hi, Liz.
Good to see
Hi.
your face. And great to see your video. It was amazing.
It was nice. I'm so happy how it turned out.
Super impressed.
Taylor was telling us how you did everything right. Like you got your hair done, you picked a good location, you practiced your script, you did everything we tell people to do. We're so proud.
Gold stars.
I was following the directions and trusting the process.
I love it. It worked too. It worked. It's beautiful.
Hey, Scott. Good to see you. Well, we are at the top of the hour. Hey, Rex, thanks for turning your camera on. Good to see you. Mindy in the back. Okay, top of the hour. Let's make this happen for you. Welcome to your Advisor Video Academy January session. Typically, we have a guest in the hot seat. Today, we're doing things a little differently because we are talking about one of my favorite topics, what videos you should be creating in 2023. And as we planned this, it's me, it's Tracy, it's Sharon who really get to dig into this with you. And we have that unique position of working with all of the lovely people you see on this call and many more across the US and Canada. And we really get a unique position to be able to see what is working for advisors. And so we thought, let's pull some clips. Let's talk about story concepts. And we're glad you're here to join us. The thing we want to clarify before we get going today is that there are some foundational videos out there, things that you should have in place. Many of you we're working with already have these things like a homepage video talking about your value proposition, a process video, a video about you, that's your bio, explaining a little bit of your why. Those are not the stories we're here to talk about. Those are your foundation. Get those done, get them on your website, work them into your process. We are here to talk about specific story ideas for right now, for 2023. If you don't know me, I'm Laura Garfield, co-founder of Decanter. I am in Seattle, very close to my co-founder, Sharon Gatula, who is also the creative director of Decanter. And on the far other corner of the country is Tracy Shaw, our executive director. Many of you work with her all the time. She produces all of our content, and she is just a brain trust of great ideas when it comes to storytelling. One thing I want to mention before we get going, if there are questions you have along the way, you can drop them into the chat and we will stop and answer them. Or if you'd like to talk to us about them, please just stick around after we wrap this up and we'll answer your questions. So Sharon, take it away.
Well, when Laura and I started working in the advisor space, I feel like we were on the cutting edge of advisors really starting to embrace video as a unique marketing platform. And as we've progressed over the last 8 years, more and more advisors are jumping into this space. And so for 2023, this is the time to start thinking outside the box, start pushing outside of what you're comfortable talking about, or find a fun and new way to approach how you're talking about the same thing. And so Tracy, you've been on the front lines with people. What are the most exciting creative scripts that you're writing today for our clients?
So we have some advisors taking risks, and we love to see it. We've had them shoot videos on a bike trail, even sitting on a kayak, decked out in fishing gear. May sound a little wacky, but it makes your videos so memorable and goes a long way to really making that connection that's going to stick with people. So that just goes to show you don't necessarily have to always talk about the usual suspects, the usual topics, right? We've had advisors do videos on braces, how to pay for your kids' braces and budget for that. Talking about barbecue recipes, which made our mouths water, gardening and how that kind of is a comparison to financial planning. They've talked about pets. They've talked about their experiences doing Ironman competitions. So those are just some of my favorites that were really fun to do.
And we hope when you hear these sort of wacky ideas, you start to think, what could I be doing with video? It's really easy to, think inside the box. This is, what are people expecting a financial advisor to be talking about? Today, we're going to talk about the four corners of the box. We've whittled down our story ideas to kind of four different categories we're going to walk you through, and think of them as corners of the box instead of right in the middle where all the other financial advisors are sitting. And so the first corner we want you to think about is timely video. And this is so important right now. The markets are on my mind. They're all over the news. They are on your clients' minds, your prospective clients' minds. And right now is a huge opportunity because money is in motion. If your prospective clients are having, financial questions, they're talking to their friends, this is a perfect time for you to be the answer. And so talking about timely content, talking about, I guess you could call it the elephant in the room, what's going on with the investments, is more important this year than it ever has been. 2020 was important too, the Black Swan. You needed to be talking about it then, but 2023, did I say 2020? Anyway, 2020 COVID, 2023, the looming recession, it is really important. And not just to talk about what you're seeing on Wall Street, but also to give it your personal spin. I mean, that is how you make it different. And Tracy came up with a great example of putting a personal spin on a story.
Sure. So for many of you, I've interviewed you to write the script, write a suggested script for you for your videos. And so that I'm always going to ask one question. What analogy do you use when you talk to clients and prospects about this topic? We feel that it's a great way to make it really relatable for the viewer and really stick in their mind. So this is an example of Wilson McDonald at Leonard and Martin's used an analogy, and he put his own personal spin on it, which made it even cuter and more memorable.
And before we play this, we do want to tell you that there is a pretty big section right in the middle of this video where he's talking charts and graphs and the things you might expect. And we're going to fast forward through that because we know you all know what's happening on Wall Street, and just give you the personal bits. So be prepared for a fast forward.
Don't worry, I lowered the audio so it's not the whole time.
After a hike, you don't think about every single individual step you took. You think about that beautiful view you saw at the top that made the climb, no matter how challenging, totally worth it. The same goes for investing.
All the things are happening. Portfolio, investment, 2008.
Stay the course.
Goals.
Just as I guide and encourage my kids when hiking so they don't get bogged down in small challenges on the trail, we are here to help you on your journey so you can see the beauty at the top of the mountain.
one thing that I know, at least in my experience with everyone from Alaska, is that they are all super outdoorsy people. I don't think you move to Alaska if you can't handle being outdoors in sub-zero weather. And they're based in Anchorage. And so for them to tie in the hiking, it just immediately is building on creating that community connection for his audience and for the people in his community. I said community twice, sorry about that.
One thing to consider when you're thinking about what you want to say to your clients and prospective clients right now is that you can create video that is both timely and evergreen. Now, the video you just watched, Wilson was talking about very specific things that are happening in the market right now and making comparisons. This video is going to be outdated 6 months from now. But you can take a broader approach and do something that we call the emergency kit. And Tracy, why don't you explain how that works?
Sure. So the concept of an emergency kit is, the message you tell your clients all the time: stay calm, focus on your long-term goals. And so you produce this video with that message, you get it approved by compliance, go ahead and jump through all those hoops, and you kind of have it in your back pocket. When the market drops, you have that ready to send out, at a moment's notice. And your clients are like, wow, this is a really timely message, and it just dropped in my inbox right now.
And we do get a question a lot from advisors who have created emergency kit videos. First of all, we don't call it emergency kit on an outward facing public title. Emergency kit is sort of our working title on the inside. But many advisors ask, I used this video back in 2020. Can I share this again? And the idea behind it is, yes, it's a timely message. And the recipients might not remember exactly what you said back then, and it's still going to be as relevant today as it is and it was back then. So the idea behind an emergency kit video is that you can use it again. The second corner of the box we are drawing with you is your funnel step videos. And these are videos that you can use at phases as prospective clients get to know you. So if you think at the top of the funnel, those would be those first contact email messages you're sending, possibly confirming a meeting, or an email that goes out the day before the meeting with a meeting reminder. That is a great spot to drop a video. The second step would be post-meeting, something that reinforces what you talked about in the meeting or answers a specific question of your prospective client that came up in the meeting. The third phase of this would be what we like to call the nudge. Those prospective clients whom you had the conversation with, they felt like a good fit for you, you felt like a good fit for them, but they never pulled the trigger. That happens a lot when, the timing just isn't right to make a move from the old financial advisor to you. The nudge is a video that could go out 6 months after you initiated the conversation. And then the welcome aboard video would be at that conversion point from when they decide to become a client. And this is where you are future pacing or setting expectation for what is to come as they work with you over the next 6, 9, or 12 months. And we wanted to show you a very unique example of one of those videos.
So for this video, we took the approach of what you can accomplish in the previous 6 months or even a year since you've talked with the financial advisor, but haven't just, decided to pull the trigger and sign on as a client yet. So we took a little funny approach of what you could do in that time, and they put their own personal spin on it.
One thing you can say about us is we're persistent. Chances are it's been a few months, maybe even a few years since we first talked.
But maybe you haven't yet made the decision to get started on your financial plan. We get it. It might seem like too much work, or you just don't think you have the time. And we know time is precious. But just think, if you started months ago, where you'd be now.
In a matter of months, you can write a book.
We did that. Or train for a marathon.
We did not do that. That's a hard pass. But you can also renovate a house, lose a few pounds off the dad bod. The possibilities are endless. You just have to take the first step.
We do the heavy lifting for you here at Birch Run Financial. And we won't even start with the hard stuff. We'll get to know each other first. We want to hear about your hopes and dreams, then look at ways that we can help you achieve them.
Give us a call and we can get started today.
I love the fact that they have this self-deprecating humor about everything they do in their videos. And, you know, humor is one of those things that we talk about a lot. It's a great way to just make people smile off the top of your video. And then they're watching that video already with a very positive outlook of anything that's going to say after the fact. And Alex and Ed have a nice sort of dynamic between the two of them that works really, really well with this video. I mean, one of the best parts about this is that you feel like when you go sit down with them in a meeting, you're going to get that same fun, humorous conversation going on with your day-to-day with them.
I want to jump in and put Elise Stoner on the spot for a second. One of our good pals and financial advisor, marketing strategy expert. You know, Alex said dad bod in his video, dad bod. Like, is that okay? Can you get that personal? Can you go that casual when you're presenting to your business? What do you think, Elise?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because it's about authenticity. It's about connecting with your client. And especially in this case, it's moving somebody towards being a client. And I think that that's really important because it's one more reason when that humor hits and someone's like, yeah, dad bod, I get it. There's that connection. Either they have one, they probably love somebody who has one, and it shows like they get you. So this whole idea of the humor, the authenticity, that's where the connection is made, and that's what makes you. Those types of things are what make you stand out than any other advisors that people have interviewed.
Before we get to the other two corners of this content box we're talking about for 2023, give us a piece of advice that you are sharing with advisors as you look down the calendar for strategy, for best practices in the coming year based on what's going on.
I think I just alluded to it a little bit, but it's about personality. Even though people work with different wholesalers and different providers, the economic information is all pretty much the same. What we really work with our clients at Custom Strategic Marketing for Wealth Advisors is to understand what we call their USP, their unique selling proposition. What makes you different than the advisor down the street, or to quote some of us who are in a certain age group, what makes you different than the average bear? And leaning into that with your marketing and your communications, it's about that connection. And then everything else kind of springs from there.
Couldn't agree more. Okay, so back to our box. Let's go down to this corner down here and talk about idea number 3, and that is next gen investors. And they are often ignored. You're thinking these people don't have the minimum assets to bring to me. They don't qualify as a good candidate for me. But as you well know, research projects that something in the neighborhood of $72 trillion in assets are being transferred to heirs between now and 2045. So the next 2 decades really do offer incredible opportunity for you to focus on non-traditional target markets, you know, those people under the age of 50 or under the age of 60. And so you might be thinking, okay, well, that's great, but I've been hyper focused on these very qualified prospective clients. What do I really know about the needs of these younger investors? And we say to you, you were there once. Think back. And Tracy, that's where you started with Stuart, right?
Sure. So when we interviewed Stuart for this video, he had a funny anecdote about how when he graduated college, he had some advice. Even back then, he was wise enough to have some financial advice for his buddies to buy maybe one fewer case of beer a month and save that money instead. So as you will see in the video, the analogy got, or the example got a little watered down, pun intended, but it still got the point across.
Starting out in your career can feel a bit like winning the lottery. For the first time in your life, you have a consistent paycheck, more money than you're used to, and you're ready to have it all. The car, the nice house, but it might be champagne dreams on a beer budget. After my friends and I graduated from college, I told them, just spend a little less on entertainment each month and put that money in savings. Small moves can add up in the long run. The power of compounding interest is an amazing thing. Here are 3 things I suggest you do when you're starting out. Number 1, pay yourself first.
Sharon has a lot to say, but she's got her.
I am sorry. Did you guys even hear the video? I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
We got it.
Mute it because the French bulldog came crashing through my office. I didn't want you all to hear that. I feel like since the dawn of time, college kids have been drinking beer. So, you know, you can't go wrong probably with that analogy. Some other ideas to consider is, you know, jump in right away to educate them. I mean, I know when we talk about video marketing, I'm like, these people already know this. And then I say something that to me feels very everyday. And they're like, I've never heard that before. So talk about the shock of when you get that first paycheck and 30% of it is missing. I know I've had that conversation with my kids after Tracy Richmond from Mecum Group made that video. And they're like, oh yeah, taxes. We forgot about those. And then of course you can talk to your clients and start prepping their kids for what they're going to do. Are they going to honor the legacy that they've been trying to build? Are they going to still be interested in the same values and charities? All of those opportunities or all of that legacy that you've been building up, you want to make sure it gets passed down. And then who doesn't love to be told what to do? A checklist. Like everyone wants a checklist, like just tell me what to do and I will check it off and I will get it done. Give people like just, you know, it might feel like, oh my goodness, everyone should know this, but people don't. My children are getting financial advice from YouTube from a kid talking about, will Mario ever retire? I was like, I don't know if you should be taking advice from this guy. And then of course, tone is important. You've all been a teenager when your parents try to be funny with you and you know how cringy that can feel. So you definitely have to like understand your market. I mean, millennials now, I guess, are full-blown adults of like 40 or something, but just make sure that you're not talking down to them and certainly not, well, unless you're going to do a series of dad jokes, maybe you could pull that off. That would actually be funny.
So the final corner of our box is key emotional turning points. And this is very much unexplored with most of you that are on this call, but they're the things that happen in your clients' lives and you know they're going to happen. It's when you get that call, your client is very distraught on the other end of the line because of the death of a spouse, the death of a parent, a sudden divorce. And then on the flip side of that, you know, maybe they're very excited. They've they're selling their business, they're selling their family home and downsizing. Doesn't have to be all tears and gloom, but they are those key emotional moments. They're really packed emotionally, and you are an important piece of their life. And so how can you add value at those moments besides going beyond that phone call or the email with the advice? And what we recommend is creating content that speaks specifically to what is going on in their life and using that as a follow-up to the conversation that you have with them so that you have it at the ready. And so Tracy came up with a great example of this.
Lori at Johnson Legacy spoke to recent divorcees in this video. And so she not only touched on that pivotal moment when you need professional advice, you're not sure where to turn, you're feeling very vulnerable. She spoke calm and compassion to that. She also was able to infuse that she really understands where people are coming from in a recent divorce because she's been there herself.
We would all love for life to be a fairy tale, but the reality is around 40% of marriages in Canada end in divorce. On top of the emotional toll, this major life event changes everything about your finances. Dividing your assets can have a big impact on your lifestyle, but it doesn't have to derail you. I know this is an emotional time and a major life transition. I went through it myself. I've been where you are now, and I know from experience that it helps to create a new financial plan and find your own trusted advisor to see you through it.
Now, obviously, Lori has the expertise and the personal experience to really help her clients through divorce. But even if you haven't gone through it, I'm sure you've all worked with people who have had to go through certain transitions. And so you are still the expert, whether or not you've personally had to go through it. What I love about this type of content is that you create it and they will come. It's like Field of Dreams, right? You can create landing pages for whatever subject you want to be the expert on, create a series of helpful videos for people and get them, people aren't always searching for this sort of stuff, but if you fed it to them before they need it, then they know where to go when it happens. And I think that is the power of having these turning point videos in your, I want to say archery kit, but I don't know what it's called.
Whatever. Yeah.
So we've given you 4 ideas to kind of make up your 2023 box. I want to give you a bonus idea that is totally outside the box. Tracy had no trouble coming up with a great example of this.
So we work with Faith at Web Investment Services in North Carolina, and she's very passionate about supporting and being on the board of her local arboretum. So she used one of her idea Decanter videos to support them, and she shot it on site. And so this video was not positioned as a prospecting tool whatsoever, which I think is a good reminder to not underestimate the networking power of just doing a good deed.
Henry David Thoreau certainly understood the power of nature, that it can heal, restore, and teach. As he stated, "I took a walk in nature and came out taller than the trees." He knew that nature gives us so much more than we could ever give in return. I am a nature lover, and I feel truly lucky to have grown up in such a beautiful place. We have an embarrassment of riches when it comes to the beauty of nature here in Western North Carolina. I want to tell you about one of my favorite sanctuaries, the North Carolina Arboretum, and it's located right here in Asheville. I'm so fortunate to be involved in this beautiful place by serving on the Society Board of the North Carolina Arboretum. Growing up here, somehow I missed visiting this gym. It wasn't until a trail race held here when I was 31 that I discovered this magical place. What captivated me was its beauty. What intrigued me to stay and become involved was that it is so much more than a garden or forest.
Sorry, I forgot to clip that one down. Apparently it was going to go on forever. You know, a lot of people come and say, like, I want to donate to charity, but I don't want to be all braggy about it. I don't want it to feel inauthentic. And this is a great way to build a story where you're showing your support, but without being like me, 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 me. And it's all about the charity or the Arboretum in this case. And if 2020 has taught us anything, it has taught us that community is probably the most important asset we have, not only for our personal lives, but also for our business. And this is an amazing way of building a community of everyone who loves nature, everyone who supports the Arboretum, in a very non-intrusive way. You know, it just feels more, not casual, but less forced than if you were just like, we donated $2,500 to the Arboretum this year. And you're doing good. Like, it's twofold, right? You're showing your support, you're showing you're a great member of the community, and you get to highlight a charity that you think more people should know about. So win-win.
Elise, I'm sure you have some perspective on this final fifth outside the box bonus.
Definitely. And you know, Sharon, it's a win-win-win, because what we find as we are working with our clients and helping them understand their unique selling proposition, and how to connect that with their ideal client, oftentimes philanthropy is another great way to meet new clients, right? If it's something that you're passionate about and you're on a board, you're giving, you're doing, there's probably other people who are doing the same thing. So by creating this video and sharing what fires you up, what lights you up, it could also be a great tool to connect with potential clients.
Well, we hope we've given you some great ideas. If you have any questions you'd like to ask us or ask Elise, stick around. We'll stick around. You stick around. We can do some Q&A. Also wanted to remind you that we are convening again on Wednesday, February 15th for our next Advisor Video Academy. We're going to be talking about client testimonials and everything you should know and all that you can do with them. So make sure to mark your calendars and you'll be getting an invite in your inbox.
And our fun quote this month is, helpful topics will win. Think topically and answer specific questions, from Heather Murthy of Collective Measures. And really, I think the more specific you are in any story you tell, the more connection you actually build.
Thank you for taking the time to be here, and stick around if you want to ask questions. Go out there and have a great day.